Hi everyone, this tutorial is on how to sew this beautiful gown. Some days ago we learnt about the drafting and also the cutting. So this is the final tutorial on how to make this. If you haven't watched on how to draft and sew this, draft and cut this, please go ahead and watch it. The video is here. And I want to use this opportunity to say thanks to all my followers on Facebook. If you're watching me from YouTube, to all of my subscribers, thank you and God bless you. So today's zone is going to be how to sew this. I'm going to be showing you all the details step by step on how to join this together. If you're interested, keep watching please, and don't forget to share. So this is where we stop at the drafting and cutting, the drafting of the pattern, both the front and also the back. Here is where we stop. Now making use of 3 yards plus 12 inches of Ankara fabric for this, and the combination for the basque, which is the white flower fabric you're looking at. I'll be using it to make the basque shape. You know, it has a basque shape. That is the number 2 segment. Okay, now I've gone ahead to cut, placing my paper like this to cut the back. This one is the back. And if you're placing the paper on your folded fabric, please make sure you shift the paper, the neck area, shift it to be slanty, so that if the neck width is 3.5 inches, while you're placing the paper on top of the fabric, shift it inward so that you are going to have your 3.5 inches. Let me measure it so that you understand what I'm talking about. From this area to the other end is 3.5 inches, as you can see here. So make sure that your own neck width goes like that in a slanty way while placing the paper, both the front and also the back. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the side, the center front of the back. You know, the back is going to be slit. Okay, now the second segment, which is the basque, is what I just cut out, and I'm cutting the neck area out, okay, for it to be into two splitted pieces. Okay, like the back is going to be 2 pieces. And if you watch on the down part, I just added 0.5 inches. The upper part of the back is just the length of my half length. You know, when we are drafting, we drafted this to stop at the underboss. Okay, but I went ahead to add 1.5 inches, making my half length. Same things goes to the front. On the down part of the front, I added 1.5 inches to make it to be equal to my half length. That is my half length. Instead of that underboss, I added some inches on the down part, including on the basque shape. I added 1 inch on the upper part, because the reason why I added that 1.5 inches, in fact the reason why I made the upper part to be my half length, is because I'm going to be gathering that upper part area. So this is the back after cutting. Now this is the back, and this is also the front. If I have any excess while joining the upper part, I am going to trim it out. Now coming to the basque, I have my interface, and I'm going to be ironing interfacing on it, on the basque. So I'm using paper stay to iron on the basque shape, both the front and also the back. I'll iron it and turn it up with my white lining. Now coming back to the front, I have gone ahead to gather the under the down part, which we stop on the drafting, which we stop at the under bust, but I have my half length there in total. I've gone ahead to gather it and turn it up with my line in the neck at the side part area, leaving the round sleeve length part. So go ahead and gather yours. You can see that my gather is just little because I didn't add much allowance while cutting it out. Okay, like I said, you can use 3.5 inches or 4 inches. If you're adding your measurement on the underboss, you can go ahead and add, in fact add 4 inches allowance to it. Now after gathering the upper part, which is the down part of the half length, I'm just going to bring the basque for the front like this, placing it like so. I wanted to shape it to give me that curvy shape for the basque. You know, the basque has this curvy shape part. So I'm just going to bring this upper part, placing it like so. Then from the shoulder, I'm just going to go ahead and measure to know the excess allowance I'm going to be trimming out, and the one I'm going to be using to join both the up and the basque together. And I'm also going to know where the upper part is going to stop and where the half length is, the basque is going to be starting. Like the upper part, if you watch the picture we are recreating, this basque shape started beneath the underbust, maybe 1.5 inches after the underbust. So that is what I'm going to be achieving. Now I'm just placing this upper part on the basque like this, just to trace the length of the gather. If you're gathering, make sure that you gather, if you stop your measurement at the underbust, gather to your underbust measurement, including your same allowance. Now I'm just tracing out that curve like this on the basque shape with my chalk. I'm just tracing it out. After that, I'm just going to go ahead and trim out the length. That is why you see that the basque is longer and bigger. You can see the way I'm just trimming it out. And I wanted the length side part of this basque to be uh, uh, small. If you want the length of your basque to be big or long, go ahead and do the way you want it to do. Now after trimming out, cutting out some excess, I still want to give that basque a little curve. On this side part, I have gone ahead to curve it out in a slanty shape like so. You can see the way I mark my chalk and cut it out. So that is what I just have here. Whatever I did on the front basque, I am also going to do it on the back of the basque fabric, so that the front and the back basque shape is going to align on the side part. Now I've gone ahead to join the front, and you can see it. So the upper part of the front is now ready from shoulder to the waist. That is what we are having here. I'll keep it aside and bring the remaining length, which is the garther. That is the remaining length for the full gown. I'll measure it out and gather. I'll measure the length of the of my gown and gather it. That is just it. This is just 3 yards plus 12 inches I'm using for the ankara. So after gathering, I'm just going to join it on the basque shape like this. So that will be all for the front. Like the picture we are recreating, I don't know if that fabric is ankara fabric, I don't know, but I just use an ankara fabric to achieve mine. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep the front aside. You can see, let's go and work on the back part. You see that the front is ready. I'm just keeping it aside. So this is the inside of the front. You can see it. Okay, so now the back part, I've gone ahead to join the upper part and the down part of the basque like this. And I have my zipper allowance. After marking out 1 inch for my zipper allowance, I went ahead to mark out extra 0.6 inches on the two sides of the zipper. Mark out 1 inch for your zipper allowance. Go ahead and mark extra 0.6 inches. I went ahead to mark 0.6 inches. That 0.6 inches is going to be the gap of the gap after facing the zip. Okay, so if you face the zip like this, so you'll be seeing a little bit gap. If you want your own to go in a little, you can mark out 1 inch after marking your zipper allowance. So this is how it's going to be relaxing. Now my zipper is going to be starting from that underbust to the basque length. Okay, underbust to the basque length. If you're joining the back, make sure you gather that upper part at the underbust like this. Make sure you gather it. Okay, and if any allowance you added for the length of the upper part of this back, make sure you use it. If you did not use it after sewing, you notice that the back neck area or the shoulder area is going to be pulling out. So make sure you use the allowance you added. Now I've gone ahead to add the zipper. So you can see the yellow zipper there. I've gone ahead to iron the add the zipper there. And if after adding the zipper you notice a pointy sharp fabric like this, just leave it like so. You either put it inside and stitch it, or you leave it, because I'm still going to be using my gather remaining length to cover that basque part of the gown like this. So if you have a sharp edge fabric like so, just leave it, because the gather is going to be covering it up. Okay, now the next thing to do is to bring my gathered uh length of a fabric and just go ahead and join. Before joining it, I make sure that I trim the side part of this basque shape, like the side length of the basque. I am going to trim it so that it's going to be equal with the front. I'm still going to go ahead and show us what it looks like. So after joining the gather, this is what I have. Okay, from that underbust I face the zipper to the length of the basque is okay for the length of the zipper, because if you measure from the shoulder to that basque length is up to 23 inches. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and join my shoulder, the front and the back shoulder like this. Okay, I'm just going to bring one shoulder, open up the lining on the shoulder, stitch them together. Now you can see that I've gone ahead to join the two shoulder like this. Now to achieve our gather on the shoulder, remember the gather has this ruch on the shoulder. Okay, you are going to be using the ruch to draw the gather on the shoulder. What I did was to how to achieve that is to cut out a little fabric that the wideness is just 2 inches. Go ahead and hem the 2 inches fabric round, then open up your shoulder and place it on the center point of your shoulder, like the midpoint of the shoulder. As you see me opening it up like this, I'm just going to go ahead and lay it like so. I am not going to be using this towel. I'm just explaining how you are going to achieve that drawstring, like the ruche there. So you place your fabric at the midpoint of the shoulder like this. You go ahead and run a stitch at the two side parts, then another stitch on the center point of the ruche of the fabric like this. So after stitching, you have your two stripe that you have stitched and keep aside the rope. So you insert the rope from the opening sleeve like so and close it on the edge like that. That is how you're going to draw your ruche and get your gather. But I'm not going to be doing this. I just went ahead and run a gather on the two side of this midpoint of the shoulder, the two parts. I just run a gathered stitch on it and draw my gather. After drawing my gather, I've gone ahead and stitch the two stripe for it. I went ahead to attach my stripe, just a little stripe there. So I'm still going to show you what I mean by attaching the stripe. So now I've gone ahead to shape the back basque. I'm just going to go ahead and trim it out. I've shaped the the back basque for it to align with the front length basque. So I've gone ahead to trim it out. So now you can see what I mean by stitching on the running a gather stitch on the two side of the shoulder. I've gone ahead to draw the gather stitch, and you can see that my gather is already there on the shoulder. So you see that two stripe you are looking at there, I did not insert it up, or I didn't make it any drawstring. I just run a gather stitch on that shoulder and gather the shoulder to the length of my sleeve. Okay, now that's two stripe that you are looking at there, I have my normal measurement of the length of the sleeve I wanted to, which is 9 inches. Now this two stripe you are looking at there, I just stitch it, and I just top stitch it at the outside of the on top of the round sleeve. I just stitch it on top of the round sleeve. Now let me show you and explain very well. So this is the one I'll be using to explain. I have gone ahead to fix one stripe on top of the round sleeve there, you can see that my gather is looking very beautiful. So this is one of the stripe that is remaining. I'm just going to go ahead and just fold the upper edge like so. At the center of the place I run that gathered, I'm just going to fold the upper edge of the strap like so and place it equally like the length I placed the first one. I'm just going to place it on top of that round sleeve on the shoulder, outer, I don't even know what to call it, but on top of the round sleeve, the outer part, I'll place it like so. Then I'm just going to go ahead and use my pin to pin it up. I'll take it to my sewing table and stitch it. I'll take it to my sewing machine and stitch it up. That is how I achieve the design for this stripe. So I did not insert it. I did not place any 2 inches or wideness of a fabric to do my ruche. You know what I'm talking about being about making a ruche or drawstring. I didn't do it. I just do it in my own way. So yeah, I'm just showing you that the two line, like the front and the back basque, the length side part, they are just aligning. Make sure that your own basque shape, both the front and the back, are aligned. That's the most important of stitching or making this gown. So you can see that the gather on the shoulder is looking very beautiful. So this is just it. I went ahead to shape it, and that comes to the end of this. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.